Okay, thanks everyone for joining. Welcome to the Game Day quarterly product release wrap and roadmap update for this quarter. Our new webinar series, so we're very excited to be presenting today. Um, I'm Mark, I'm the Director of Product at Game Day, and we're joined by Rory Stewart, who's our Onboarding Learning and Development Manager, and Daniel Bignell, who heads up our operations and product growth. So we'll kick right into what we're going to cover today. So we've got a bit of an update on the Game Day community website and where you can find all resources. We'll then take you through the latest releases from Q2 for Game Day, and then look at what's coming next for the second half of 2025. And then we'll have some time for some Q&A at the end. Just in terms of some guidelines for today, we'll run this for maximum of 30 minutes. If everyone can please keep their microphone on silent throughout. If you've got any questions, just put them in the chat. Daniel will be monitoring those, and we'll come back to those at the end in the last 5 minutes. So yeah, I'll hand over straight to Rory. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. Good day, everyone. If you don't know me, I am the manager of the Learning and Development department for Game Day. So basically responsible for making sure you guys have got everything you need to learn the system, and that you're aware of new things that come out. So hence why we're running one of these webinars, is to give you kind of the updates that have come through in the last few months. So I'm going to start with Game Day Community. So Game Day Community is it's been around for a little while. It's basically an admin side website that we run, so or an admin centered website. So it's basically for keeping up to date with product features coming out. And more recently, we've given it a bit of a redesign and a facelift to obviously improve the look and feel and the usability of it, but also to incorporate some learning and support stuff in there. So have a dedicated page for all of our learning resources, whether it's YouTube videos, online learning courses, help articles, anything like that. Basically having one space where you can access all of that stuff. So in terms of getting there, you can get there straight through Game Day. So this Game Day community icon here at the top will take you straight to the landing page. So it really has mainly been about the blog and news sort of component, where we've been releasing articles. A lot of the release notes go through here. So if you need sort of a more kind of line item structure of what's being released each week, this is where that will show up. But also announcements and new features and stuff that we've come out with will appear here. And then the new component here is the learning and support section, where we've basically added all of our learning resources into one space. So, or at least the links off to those spaces. So the Learning Academy, so for Game Day, you can jump into the eTrain New courses. So any of those ones listed here will be available. These are actually new. So as of probably the last 2 weeks, these have been completely refreshed. So if you did the same ones a year or two ago, it might be worth jumping in there and doing another one. And you can just get through those tiles to the eTrain portal. So eTrain are a partner of ours that run our online learning LMS. So that's where we host all of our courses. And you can just sign up there. It is a different account email or a different set of credentials than Game Day. So you do need to sign up again, but we'll hopefully be able to integrate that a little bit closer into the platform. And then all of the other components here in terms of video library, which just goes to our YouTube channel. So I'd recommend taking a look at that, just because they're fairly short and digestible versions of whatever you need to know, whether it's a new feature that's come out or a feature that you don't know too much about and want to learn. and then our help articles as well. So if you've been around for a little while, you're probably familiar with this site. This has sort of been the main source of training for a little while until we got some more videos and e-learning stuff up. But this has also been redesigned, so it makes it a little bit easier to navigate around and figure out what you need to read or what you need to learn. So yeah, I'd encourage you to have a look at that, or any combination of those options as well. We've also got the resource center in platform, which is just these onboarding guides here, which give you a more brief sort of introduction to the features. So that's probably all I wanted to mention for GameDay community. I'd just say have a look at it, see if there's anything there that piques your interest. And yeah, any feedback is always welcome. So with that, I'll pass back over to Mark for a few updates into the product.
Great. Thanks, Rory. So just run through just the latest releases for Q2 that we released on GameDay. So the first one is our userway language and accessibility widget integration. So Rory will run through these in a bit more detail as a demo shortly, but essentially the userway widget provides us with the ability to support our web accessibility guidelines. So supporting people with various abilities utilizing online systems, and also the language support. So it provides AI-powered live language translation for over 50 languages. So supports users, obviously, that English may not be their first language, or users in various countries that we operate in. So yeah, really excited to bring that widget to our user base. The next one is our member lists and table filter updates. So this is all very much about usability and improving the usability of the platform. So a lot of the member list screens and anything where you find a table, essentially we've updated the filters, updated the way that you can reorder columns, improved the ability to export all that data out. And when you update certain settings, it'll hold those settings when you navigate away and come back to it. So there's just various pieces of feedback that we had around usability of those pages that we've improved. The next set of updates was the duplicate management. So duplicate management was a major release that we released in May. So essentially, again, utilizing smart technology, it identifies these duplicate profiles for you. If there's any match on certain data points, we're using essentially like a fuzzy matching as well. So if there's something that looks like it may be a duplicate, that'll be brought to your attention. And then you can either resolve those duplicates by merging them or keeping them as separate. And then a whole host of updates to our report builder tool. So again, some usability updates. We've added additional fields. 2 new reports are being added, and we'll continue to add new reports to this report builder. And you can also clone and delete reports as well. So lots of updates around that, and Rory will take you through those now.
Cool. Thanks, Mark. All right, so we'll start off with the language and accessibility widget here. So that's just sitting under the account menu. It's been in there for a couple of weeks, so you might have had a play around with this already. But if you open up that option, it just gives you this panel on the side. And this has got all of the different accessibility display settings and the language translation sitting inside it. So I'll show you how the language translation works first. So we can just pick, from a pretty massive list of languages here. So, if there's a language that you prefer to speak, you can just set that option, and then you can see all the also the sort of common phrases, probably not excluding proper nouns generally, have been translated over to that language. So that includes the menus. It includes even the widget itself. Like you can see, all of that's been translated. And as you continue to navigate around the platform, you'll see after probably about a second, it'll update the rest of the page. So each time page loads, it's looking at the page and translating that in real time. So that's a pretty cool feature there, especially if if you've had barriers in the past as an admin trying to use this system, maybe not speaking English too well, or English as your second language. I think that's going to be a really useful option for people. And then on the, I'll toggle back to English. So you can toggle that back and forth, and it'll just remember what language you chose last time. And English is just the default option here. So that's simple enough. On the accessibility side, so the display settings we've got down here, basically there's quite a few of them. There's individual display changes that you can make. So if you want to contrast the screen, you can do that. You can see the progress icons down the bottom there, show you a few different kind of options that you can choose. Bigger text if you want to, more spaced out text. Anything really that is a common sort of issue maybe for people with different accessibility needs. Things that even sort of focus in on certain things around the platform. A reading guide, line height, saturation, all that sort of stuff, just to make it a little bit easier, and just so that it's not so fixed. And I guess maybe you're not also relying on browser settings and computer settings and things like that, which can be a little bit hit and miss. So those are the individual accessibility options. You've also got accessibility profiles. So that's going to be basically a predefined set of configurations based on, I guess, common accessibility needs. So the low vision one, for example, you can see which one or which options that enables. And then as you navigate around, it'll just continue to display in that way. And then we can reset all the accessibility settings back to normal. So that's a handy way of, if you don't want to go through every single setting in there and figure out, what everything does, you might like to just choose, an accessibility profile that works for you. Okay. So that is the user way widget. Second thing I'm going to show you is the duplicate management system. So a lot of people have been asking for this for a little while. So basically what it does is it's not necessarily designed only to find exact matches between certain pieces of data. So commonly it's name and date of birth that basically triggers, duplication identification in a lot of systems. This one will look at that, but it'll also look at basically what Mark called fuzzy logic, in that it'll look at a broader array of member data, and if it's, say, about 90% identical, then it will flag it as a potential duplicate and drop it into the duplicate management list here. So I'll show you what I mean. So we've got 3 profiles here. This guy's name is Brian Yates, Byron Yates, and Byron Yates. So Brian Yates is pretty close to Byron. And then the date of birth is one off as well. So the date of birth is different for these ones, or these two, let's say. And then pretty much everything else is the same. So the system's basically looked at it and said, it's not an exact match with name and date of birth, but it may be a potential duplicate. And that's where the machine learning sort of comes in and makes it a little bit more sophisticated. And then once it's in here, you've sort of got the option of either merging it or merging any of these profiles together, or you can just ignore them and remove them from the list. So Brian might actually be a different person than Byron. So you can basically do what you want with these members. You can either merge them or you can just ignore them. So the three dots up menu up here basically gives you the merging options. So you can either merge it directly on this screen, so using the newest profile as the base, meaning it'll take that member data and that'll be the source of truth, and the rest of them will merge into that one. Do the same thing with the oldest profile, or you can just ignore them, remove them from the list. Or you can click manage, and this basically gives you a little bit more control over what you're doing here. So let's say we want to use profile 3 because we know those details are correct. And down the bottom here, it will tell you these profiles are going to be merged into this profile. And if you want to, if you know, for example, this guy is actually a different person, it's not actually a duplicate member profile, you can just say keep profile. Profile 1 will be kept. Profile 2 will be merged into profile 3, and profile 3 is the base of this resolution. So when you're merging, it'll tell you exactly what's going to happen down the bottom of this screen. And when we say base record, basically means this sort of stuff, this member data where it's not necessarily a list, it's just a field as a source of truth. It'll take this one. So 29th is the date of birth instead of the 28th, basically. Any other information like order lists or product lists that are stored against the record, they'll actually be combined after you merge them, so you're not losing that sort of data. So you can just click resolve duplicates if you want to merge them, and then they'll be merged into a new record. So that's that one. And I'll just quickly show you a couple of the UI updates here. So we'll go through the report builder. As Mark said, we've got a couple of new reports here. So event participants, basically we'll look at a specific event form, which, based on that, you can report on, the participants who registered for the event, the orders they purchased, the products, that sort of thing. And then the transaction will just look at your order list. So whether it's paid orders, unpaid orders, cancelled, refunded, they'll all be included in that. And just to look at the interface here, it's changed a little bit from the original release. There was a lot of sort of admin features down the bottom here. It's now mostly sitting up here. So your output for the report is up here. You can download the report or email it to yourself. You can preview a report, which just gives you sort of the first 20 or so records that are going to be pulled in the report. And then a few other options around visibility. So you can basically hide certain fields for, a single extraction if you want to. And you can also sort by options over here. So you might want to make last name the primary sort, ascending or descending. And then you can also apply a secondary sort as well. So those are the main changes there. And then lastly, on the member list, we've changed the filters a little bit as well, just for a bit of usability. So we take a look. In fact, this is on any list really, not just the member list. So if you look at the by product list here, to load, we'll look at the profile list. So this just allows you to basically any of the options that were previously sort of skewed across the page, they're now sort of a little bit more compact and allow you to select multiple as well. So if there's any instances of filters where there's more than 2 options to be selected, you can now select multiple, where previously that was only the single filter. And you can also clear them, and you can also drag and drop any of these columns as well. So as you to kind of making the system look the way you want it to look, you can sort of adjust that sort of stuff as well, which relates to exports and things like that. So you can see the order from left to right can now be changed. So we'll leave it there for the demo component. Any questions, just keep putting them in the chat. We'll get to them shortly, but for now I'll pass back to Mark for the roadmap updates.
Great. Thanks, Rory. So we'll jump straight into what we're looking at for the second half of the year in terms of the roadmap. So just bring up that slide. So we've got key focus on some payments updates at the moment. So first one is Link wallet payments. So this is Stripe's wallet essentially. This will allow a member or a parent or a user to save their preferred payment method directly with Stripe's Link service, and they can do that on any site that uses Stripe. It doesn't have to be the GameDay site; could be a third party um, e-commerce site. As long as they put in the email address into that link section, it'll then present that user with all the available payment methods that they've saved. So making that checkout process even quicker and smoother. Installment payments. So this is quite an exciting release that will allow a user to split their total order amount in four equal fortnightly installments, provided that the organization that is selling those products enables installment payments on that form. So that'll be exciting to be coming to market. Should be hopefully available in August. Subscription products. So this is coming later on, but the ability to offer subscription-based memberships ranging from weekly right through to annual subscriptions. So think of it like a gym membership will allow you to set up a product that you can sell as a subscription-based product, and they get charged on a cadence that you choose. We're also going to be supporting that for things like and what we currently call an add-on product for the subtype for donations, where you may be able to uh, receive regular donations from someone to kind of fundraise. For our UK customers, we will be looking at bank transfer option through BACS, and European customers bank transfer through SEPA. On the membership and event side of things, we're looking at a new notification center, just a better area to see the duplicates that you've resolved and also any reports that you've downloaded. Some further enhancements to our member profile portal, adding things like accreditations and documents. We've got a number of enhancements coming to the events platform. So a lot more support for corporate events, and also just various feedback that we've had over the past few months that we've collated, and we'll kind of group into a phased release over the second half of this year. And we're also looking at improving the security for admins at a starting point to implement single sign-on and two-factor authentication. Shop. We're very excited to be releasing the first phase of that for GameDay customers to be able to sell merchandise, uniforms, or donations via a dedicated shop form. And then the next phase of that will be a full kind of shop portal. GameDay app will be undertaking a significant overhaul with major UI and UX improvements and a new design. So that's obviously used for tickets, event tickets and scanning at the moment. And on the marketplace side, we've got scheduled an integration with Xero, which is probably the most popular accounting software for our users, and also looking at an integration with a insurance provider called Protect that will allow the purchase of insurance as part of an event registration. And then finally, GameDay View. If you're not using that tool, please speak to your account manager. But GameDay View is the business intelligence tool, and we're starting work on the version 4 of that at the moment. We're also excited to be releasing or launching GameDay IQ. This is our AI-powered tech, and we'll take you through a bit what that means. So we're already implementing AI-powered tools within our platform. So I'll go through those in a bit more detail. So things like the chatbot, we've got the duplicate identification, language translation, and some of the in-app guides are all powered some in some form through AI. And then we've got some new AI workflows that we're looking at. Um, so things like form and product creation, event creation, suggestive search, report builder, and communication. So where we can kind of implement AI through our tool, through our platform. We're looking at that not just for the sake of it, but to help improve the system and make it a better experience for you. And we are also, working with AI tools ourselves in terms of how we do things as well. And then finally, game day destination. Is something that you'll hopefully will be launched in the second half of the year or by the end of the year. It'll be a centralized kind of platform where you can find, discover, and hopefully allow users to play sport and register for an event. So yeah, we'll be providing a lot more information on that over the coming months. Um, Finally, obviously, yeah, we'll hand over to Daniel for any questions that have come through the chat, and we'll be happy to answer those for you now.
Yep, we've got a couple of questions here. The first one is just with regards to duplicate profiles. So the question is when duplicate profiles, when the duplicates are not picked up in the smart match, but you know that they exist, is there a recommendation for you to make sure that the key member details can match? For example, the profile email as opposed to the member email. So just recommendation on steps if you notice a duplicate that exists.
Yeah, so the system will find a match if there's an exact match on name and date of birth, and email, a member email. So if you do want to force a duplicate, you can update one of those profiles to be the same as another one. Um, that's the best option there.
Great. Another question here just around installment payments. So you mentioned that this will allow a user to split their payments into 4 equal fortnightly payments. Is it the only installment option, or could admins construct different installment options? For example, pay half now and half in 6 weeks.
At this stage, we're going with the industry standard of kind of what buy now, pay later suppliers provide in the market. So industry standard is that fortnightly payment every split by 4. We will launch with that. The subscription products will probably provide you with a bit more flexibility with how you want to set up a cadence of subscription-based products, where you may have a subscription that might last for 6 months and it might be a monthly payment. But for installments, we'll see what the feedback is, but that for launch it'll be a default of 4 fortnightly payments.
Thanks. And then the final one here, which is a quick one, just on the Xero accounting integration. Is there a timeline on scoping and integration phase at this stage?
Yeah, we're very much in the initial scoping phase of that. So it's probably something that will likely be in the latter half of 2025. So yeah, definitely looking at something for Q4 for that. But yeah, we know that's something that will be very handy for a lot of users.
There's just one final one here, and I think we'll call it that one as the last one. So just with regards to the filtering of lists, the feedback we just got here is really positive, but just to confirm, when the filtering lists, when you sign off and sign back in or switch profiles, will the listing history be retained?
Yes, so we've built that to hold the list that you've selected, but I think it'll just be for that same organization. So if you go into a separate organization, it'll just be the default. But if you then save it for that organization, go back to that organization list, that should be retained for you. But if there's any other further feedback around usability, we'd love to hear it through your either support or account management team. So
that's it. So all the questions we have.
great. And then finally, obviously, join GameDay community if you haven't already. To stay informed, can use that QR code link. But yeah, we'd be obviously we want to make sure that we're providing as much information and keeping you informed. So thank you again for joining today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again.